Festive season is in full swing and so is the consumer spending. Most likely this festive season, consumers are likely to spend 3 lakh crore rupees. That is 50,000 crore more than the last festive season. This is according to the reports by CAIT. Now, obviously, this is a very auspicious period. And what are the sales that increases? We have consumer durables, auto sales, car sales. The bookings are at the highest right now as well. And a lot of delivery that happens during this auspicious period, especially during Dussehra as well. Now, to talk about the trends, what is happening as of now this festive season, we are joined by Rishabh Sheth from Group Shaman. Thank you so much, Rishabh, for joining in with us. You have dealership for Honda, Triumph, as well as Volkswagen as well.
That's right.
So when you talk about the demand trends you have, how is it shaping up this festive season versus what we saw last year? How are the growth, how are the trends that are shaping up with the consumers right now?
No, so the festive season in India begins broadly in mid-August this year with the Onam festival in the south and until Diwali. So it's broadly a 3-month period that we are looking at across the country. For Onam in South, there was a 23% growth in sales. So we are also entering the festive season, our festive season, with great anticipation and enthusiasm. So far, so good. September, there was a 20% growth year on year for the industry. And we are hoping that this period will also be great for all of us. And we are all stocked up and ready. I think what's really helped are the supplies. This year, the supplies have been very strong and great. We had those semiconductor chip issues in the past. Right. So those have been overcome. Supplies have been very strong and stable. And so we have a good inventory to cater to the demands of our customers.
So, supply issues have gone, good inventory is there. It's all festivity around. We are expecting good growth as well. Let's talk about near term, right? Dussehra. Everyone wants their car to be delivered during Dussehra. They book it before. How many deliveries are planned for during this Dussehra time? Is it like there's a sharp increase this time?
So, yes, the Dussehra is, I think, a much awaited festive period for everybody to buy their cars. So this Navratra season and Dussehra is normally the largest for all of us, especially in Mumbai also. So we are also approaching it with, like I said, with a lot of anticipation and eagerness. We have a lot of bookings, especially with the new Honda Elevate here. There are massive bookings. Of course, we won't be able to deliver all of them during this Dussehra because there is a waiting period. Having said that, I think the days of the 12-month, 15-month, 2-year waiting periods which we witnessed is at least not there. I think the supplies are healthy and good. So we are talking of a more reasonable and acceptable waiting period of maybe 3 to 6 months broadly. Okay. So we are hoping to deliver a fair amount of cars in Dussehra and with a lot of excitement.
So how many is that fair amount of cars? If you could give me a roundabout number.
Broadly for each of our brands, it would be different. But somewhere, say like for a Honda, we would be in excess of 50 vehicles and both Honda and Volkswagen. Triumph with our bikes, of course, the number would be, well into the 3-digit number. So 150, 200 bikes there.
Is what is there on the day of Dussehra,
yes,
that is there and stored for delivery, and wait period also has reduced. But, let's just talk about pre-COVID levels. Was it similar to this trend, or are we seeing a higher trend now after COVID, given that, everyone is spending a bit more in terms of the luxury side as well? So is that a trend that we are seeing coming in now?
So definitely, I think post-COVID, I think COVID taught all of us a lot of things, right? So it is one life that we are all living, and all of us are a lot more willing to spend money. So the automobile sales have grown pre-COVID levels. So we witnessed a strong 14% growth over pre-pandemic levels. So this recovery has been very robust. In fact, April to September this year not only grew 6% over last year, but it also was an all-time high record for sales as well. So it's all auguring well, I think.
So obviously above pre-COVID levels, so clearly above last year levels as well. And the luxury market versus mid-segment market, when you have your products, how do you see the sales happening? Is that luxury? Because we know that luxury across sectors is seeing a better performance versus mid. So is that, still a continuing trend, or maybe now mid-segment is also doing well in autos?
So mid-segment is also definitely doing well. What people want want is, I think a lot of people, what we've seen is going for the top end vehicles. So they want feature rich vehicles, they want vehicles with all the safety also in it. So for example, in Volkswagen with the 5-star NCAP ratings, it's met with great response from the customers, because they want, ultimately people are buying safety, they are buying comfort, they are buying style, features. So people are definitely willing to spend, they're not holding back, and they want bang for their buck, I think. And at the end of the day, us Indians are value conscious, we are not so much so price conscious. So we don't mind spending money, but we want value at the end.
As long as you're giving me the value for my money, I think that goes everywhere.
Absolutely,
whatever you're buying.
So luxury is definitely doing well, and like I said, people are not shying away from spending. They want to spend money and take in the luxuries of life, be it vehicles, be it travel. So I think from that perspective, luxury is definitely doing exceptionally well. But so is the mid segment. I think a lot of people who are first time buyers are jumping straight away into the mid-size segment, because they are wanting to have these home.
I think it's that new trend, right? YOLO, you live only once. Absolutely. And everyone wants to spend it as well. So that is there. But what about, you have Triumph as well. So two-wheeler side, four-wheeler side, what is the two-wheeler trend that is shaping up for both the new launches that were there in the recent time for Triumph? How are both of them performing in terms of orders as well as inquiries?
So we have had an overwhelming response actually to the Triumph sales. So with the Speed 400 and then the Scrambler 400, we have had lots of footfalls into our showrooms.
Okay.
So inquiry levels are great, bookings are great as well. And luckily with the Triumph and Bajaj collaboration, the strength of Bajaj is definitely also there in manufacturing. So they've been able to supply vehicles also in great numbers. So luckily for us, the waiting periods are not, like I mentioned, of the earlier 18-24 months. We have had good supplies, we have had good demand, and so it's at a fairly reasonable 2 to 3 month waiting periods, I think, which are adequate and which are good, because a consumer also doesn't mind waiting for that long. At the same time, the demand is also very healthy and very good for us as well.
Also, just specifically in terms of Triumph Scrambler, then how is the inquiry actually? Is it more than what we saw for Triumph Speed, or is it lower, or how is it shaping up? Because that's more on the luxury side as well when you look at it.
So yes, so both the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400 are more or less similarly priced, but they appeal to a different audience. So I think the Speed 400 has definitely met great response. The Scrambler 400 is recently launched, so the bike would be in our showroom in the next couple of days. Okay. So I think we'd get a better idea maybe going forward once people actually, because at the end of the day, while people might pre-book for their vehicles, they ultimately want to touch and feel the bike.
You need to know how it feels before you buy it. Right?
Absolutely. So I think that will pick up going forward as well. There is of course definite initial interest and good bookings. I think it can only go up from here.
Also for Volkswagen, sedan at one point of time right now was a bit subdued in terms of buying that was coming in or sales. Is that coming back? Because that does cover the part in Volkswagen.
So definitely, actually the Volkswagen Virtus, which is the sedan from their stable, has met exceptional response. I think it appeals to an audience because people want something new all the time, right? So I mean, true with the Triumph Speed and the Scrambler also, and here as well with the Virtus. So people want something new all the time, and the Virtus actually caters to their interests. It's a large car, it's the largest wheelbase in the segment. It's got good power, it's got good styling. It's got a massive boot, it's got good ground clearance as well. So it sort of meets a lot of the requirements of an individual. So for somebody who's looking at an SUV, I think we have had a lot of customers come in for the Taigun, which is the SUV. But shifting to the Virtus as well, because they found that it met their needs of an SUV also. So the sedan segment is still alive. Of course, the SUV segment is the one which is growing at a very rapid pace. I think in terms of trends that we spoke about, the SUV segment is growing massively. Earlier, it used to contribute 15 to 17% in the Indian automobile industry. Now, it's over 50% now. So the SUV segment is definitely the fastest growing segment. But the sedan segment is very much there. I think people want something, like I said, they want something new, and the Virtus was able to cater to that requirement very well. So it was
not bad in terms of demand. Like yes,
no, it's in fact doing very well for us. So and it's built over time. So like I said, with the 5-star NCAP rating also, I think was accepted very well by the consumers, and they've done. We recently had the GT Edge edition. So all of these have met a great consumer interest.
Okay, so at least sedan is not dead. It's there. It's still alive, and maybe could make a comeback is something that we're watching for. But used cars, you all do have that segment as well.
Yes.
So in terms of used cars, how is sales over there as well? Because that also has a very huge market as well. So in terms of the market over there, used car, is that something people are looking at? What is the trend that you're seeing?
No, definitely. So I think a few years back, the used car industry used to be a fairly unorganized one. I think over the years, with a lot of online aggregators coming into play, it sort of became organized as well. People started moving towards organized players. In the recent past, some of these online aggregators have had challenges to justify, their thin operating margins, and which led to high losses for them as well, because they were, like I said, operating at thin margins. They had huge marketing spends. So I think a couple of them shut shop. Some of them are having struggles there. So I think that industry is now shifting back to old established players who have been there over the years. And the vehicles are, so with the new car vehicle sales rising, the used car vehicle sales also automatically goes up as well, right? People are trading in cars, buying new cars. So we have more cars to sell in the used car segment as well. So the used car segment is also definitely on the up. And like I said, it's moved from the unorganized sector to the organized sector.
And is there a specific trend in used cars, like, maybe an SUV would do well, or a sedan, or is that some trend that we're seeing there?
So
over there?
In general, I think in the industry, both new and used, I think SUVs definitely. Petrol also, in terms of acceptability for the petrol vehicles, has increased substantially, because most manufacturers have now moved to petrol vehicles, right? And automatic transmissions, I think that is another thing. So while us in South Mumbai had maybe moved to automatic transmissions long back, but across the country and around Mumbai also, the acceptability and demand for automatic vehicles is far higher now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rishabh, for joining in with us. And firstly, happy festivities to all our viewers from Rishabh, myself. And thank you so much, Rishabh, for joining with us and giving us an understanding in terms of how festive demand is shaping up. And good luck for the festivities for you as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.